So welcome you all for tonight. Hannah, you were saying about your interest and your plan for what you're wanting to do for an internship.
Yes, ma'am. You just want me to say what I just said?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm a freshman. I'm a early entry pharmacy student, and I only signed up to take 12 credit hours this semester. And I'm also a Palmetto Fellows recipient, so I have to meet the 30 credit hour requirement before the end of the academic year. So I'm currently signed up to take 20 hours next semester. And my advisor recommended that I try and see if an internship would fit in instead. So that would kind of lighten my caseload, my course load a little bit for next
Great,
semester.
great question. And there are two things to keep in mind. One thing is that if you're a true freshman without enough credits to be considered a sophomore, you're not technically eligible to take an internship until you are a sophomore. So you need to be in at least your second term at PC and at least a sophomore or higher status. But you indicated that you're already at a sophomore status or higher, so that's good. The other thing is that 15 or that 30 hours goes through the entire academic year. So if you were to do summer school, those hours would also count. And there's a special way to register summer school internships that might be something you might want to consider, because you don't pay by the credit hour. It's a set fee, so that it would be a whole lot cheaper than taking summer school classes if you needed to get to that point of getting your 30 hours for the semester, because 20 will be a lot, especially if we have to do any of it online at all. So, well, we are a minute or two after 7, so I'm going to just go ahead and start with the presentation. Welcome, everybody. I'm Lynn Downey, Office of Career and Professional Development, and I welcome you all tonight. We've got a couple more students who said they were going to join us, so I'll let them in as they arrive. Hannah's already introduced yourself. Kennedy, I'll let you and Robert introduce yourself and tell a little bit about what you're wanting to do for your internship, and then I'll share my screen, and I've got a PowerPoint that I'll talk through and let you ask questions as we go.
All right, that sounds good. My name is Robert Powell. I'm actually a senior at PC right now, and I'm interested in either doing like IT, telecommunications, marketing, or real estate. And my reasons for those two areas would be just the connections that I have in my family. My mom actually has her own IT telecommunications business, and my uncle is a prominent real estate agent in Charlotte. So I actually kind of have some good connections there that I feel like I should use.
And what's your major?
My major is actually history, and my minor is political science. But originally, my major at PC was business, but I wasn't necessarily the best mathematician, so I kind of took a different route.
Okay.
With the mindset being that I feel like in the areas that I wanted in those two areas, that IT telecommunications stuff, I feel like it's not necessarily required that I need a degree in business for those two areas.
Right. Well, and the majors that you're pursuing, or the major that you're pursuing, is very flexible to a lot of different degrees. And if we get a chance, after we finish the internship portion tonight, I can show you all a couple of resources on our website that might be helpful to anyone as you're looking at careers and that tie to your major and whatnot. Kennedy, I'll let you share a little bit about yourself real quickly.
Hi, so I'm a sophomore at PC, and my major is biology, and I'm considering a minor in English or media studies. And I really I feel like I want to do something with conservation, like ecology, with that. So.
Okay, great. Thank you. Abby, would you like to share a little bit about your areas of interest and what you're thinking about you'd like to do for an internship?
Yeah. Hey guys. I'm Abigail. I'm a junior at PC. I'm a double major in economics and English. Yeah, they don't really go together. But let's see. I thought about doing something with maybe the law field. I've also thought about maybe I want to either get my JD or I want to get my master's in economics. I'm not really sure yet. So things that are open to those two opportunities would be extremely beneficial.
Great. And you're wanting to do an internship in the spring semester, or you're just looking at internships in general right now?
I would kind of like to do spring semester. I had like a nice like 2-hour gap in my schedule, so I would like a 2 hours to be filled.
Okay, is that 2 hours every day that's kind of open, or 2 hours somewhere in the middle of the week?
So I really don't have classes Tuesdays and Thursdays till 3 o'clock. For
Okay,
if I get the desired schedule, so mainly mornings, and then the other days I could do like 2 hours in between my classes because I have like a 9 a.m. and then nothing till like 1:30.
okay, so you're talking 2 credit hours, and that's going to be an important distinction. So I am going to go ahead and share my screen right now so that I can kind of cover a couple of different things real quickly. And I'm going to do this as a slideshow. There we go. So this is our question and answer session for internships. And in the past, I've generally done this on campus about 10 or 15 times. Sometimes only one student would show up. Sometimes I'd have to wait because nobody signed up, and I'd had another one, and I would be stuck at the campus until like 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, probably 3 nights a week for 2 or 3 weeks in a row. By doing this online, it really frees me up. I can do it a little bit later so more people can come, and also I can record it so that those who can't come can see it later, but I'll have another couple of sessions as well. So tonight we're going to quickly cover a broad overview of internships for academic credit, and how that's different from internships that some businesses will use the word, or some organizations will use that word, or maybe your parents or neighbors or classmates use the word. We'll talk real quickly about how to search for and find internships. The registration process is 2 parts: so registration on BannerWeb, but then also the paperwork that goes with the BannerWeb registration, and how to frame your internship as a learning experience, because it's different from your classes in that you are putting it together. You are the person designing your class, but it still is a learning experience. So it needs to be framed up that way and have learning goals put to it, that whereas in a classroom, the faculty advisor or the faculty who's teaching has done all that before class starts. For internships, you actually write your own learning goals along with the faculty member. So let's talk first about what is an internship. A lot of employers or big manufacturers in particular have jobs that they post that people can apply for that they call internships. Generally, they mean something that's temporary, often in the summer. Sometimes it may be fall or spring, but a lot of companies think of it as a full-time but temporary training program. However, for internships for academic credit here at PC, I don't imagine many of you are planning to quit school for a semester to do an internship full-time. Thumbs up on your screen under reactions down at the bottom if you are in agreement that you don't plan to take a semester off in order to do your internship. So yeah, thumbs up. That's not what most students are wanting to do for an internship. So having a different definition and knowing that before you talk to someone, if you are thinking about asking someone if you can do an internship with them, they may have a whole different picture of what an internship is than what is required for PC. PC requires that you plan it in advance and register it. They require that you do some written journals during your internship to reflect on the work and the training that you're doing. That you complete 42 hours of work for each credit hour. So that's a far cry from being full-time for 6 months or 4 months or something like that. Over a semester, each credit hour only takes you about 3 hours a week. So if you're doing a 2 credit hour internship, you would want to put in a minimum of 6 hours a week for 14 weeks. And if you multiply it out, that gives you 84 for 2 credits, or 42 per credit. Some students will do even more than 2 credit hours. Ideally, you want to get as much experience as you can realistically without taking away from your class time or causing your grades to go down or anything like that. And then the last thing is that you have to have measurable learning goals that are planned in advance for the internship to count for credit. So in order to do internships, you have to find it first. Sometimes students will come to me because they've already got an internship lined up. Others come to me and they say, I need an internship and I need it to be near campus so I can do it in the fall or the spring. Or maybe you want to do it back home over a summer, or this year between fall semester and spring semester, we've got 7 weeks. So you could even do your internship at least partially, possibly all during December and January. And often students don't know where to start to search for internships, and they might have talked to a coach or a professor or a friend or a parent, but our staff, the career and professional development staff, are available to help you with your search. We're not just about how to help you find a job when you graduate or how to put together your resume. We're here to help you all the way through with your search and finding internships and things like that. So any questions on what kinds of categories you might find yourself in as far as finding an internship? We're going to continue looking at finding internships on the next slide, but I wanted to give you a moment for questions.
I think I would be in the last bullet area. I don't know how to search because I told you earlier about the connections that I have. I mean, should I use those connections that I have, or should I branch out into something similar but different from the connections that I already have?
That's a great question. If you have a network in place, you can use your network. So maybe there's something that you're interested in doing that, like in your case, real estate's one of the areas that you're interested in, and you have a connection in real estate in the Charlotte area. So if you were wanting to spend, the 7 weeks over Christmas break in Charlotte in the real estate market, that's a much hotter market, you might say, than Lawrence County is. Although we do have connections in real estate in Lawrence County that have let students do internships here locally in the past several years. So there are definitely options in the area to do. And also, was IT the other one? The sound went out just a little bit when you were sharing earlier.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, ma'am. Telecommunications and marketing.
Okay, so telecommunications and marketing. That would be something else that we could have some local opportunities. We also have a jobs board where businesses will post their internships. I'm going to stop this share for just a moment and pull up on the PC website. So I can't see you for a moment, and my connection on the internet has been really slow. So I'm not sure what has been going on tonight, but I'm thankful that the Zoom is working. So I'm going to share screen again and let you see on the website real quickly. If we're on the PC website, that's the home page, and go to the career and professional development page. You can see that there are some resources here. The TART network is a jobs board where you can search for anything that's been posted to PC. Another one that you could use is Pathway U. If you're not really sure what you want to do, you know what your major is, but you're not exactly sure what you want to do with your major, Pathway U has some assessments you can use. And this one with the question mark is what can I do with this major, is a place that you can link to that. And I shouldn't have done that but you can type in your major. I'm going to put history just because that's what one of you said your major is. And once you've gotten to that page, you can look at all the different fields that you can go into. If you notice, there's, we're at 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different areas, 9. So there's a lot of different areas, and you can do that for any one of the majors here at PC. Let's see here. I want to try to make sure I can get back. Okay, another is micro internships. If you want to try to find something that's paid that's not necessarily local, micro internships is a way that you can create a pre-profile, and then you can search projects. And these are companies that have projects they need help with, that they maybe don't want to hire someone outright, but they want to pay someone to come in and work on a project for a few hours. If it's not enough hours to make up a full internship, you would need to get a couple of these and do them one after the other. But some of them might be as many as like 100 hours, which would be a good 2-credit internship. Another search method We are members of the Chamber of Commerce for Lawrence County. And so our office can help connect you with people around Lawrence County or businesses. We can use LinkedIn to reach out to alumni. With COVID, the doors have just, it's like the floodgates open wide to virtual internships. In the past, pretty much anyone who wanted to do an internship in Fall or Spring needed to do something close enough to campus to commute. And right now, you don't have to be working for someone close enough to campus to commute. There's a student who's an accounting major interning with a California accounting firm right now. She's being paid to intern with this company out of California, and she's working on campus at PC. We have 2 other interns who are interning with a national organization on providing healthcare to underserved populations, and their internship is entirely virtual. We've got a counseling intern who's interning with a counselor out of Annapolis, Maryland. So because of COVID and all the horrible things that go with it, one good thing that has come out of it is the doorway for virtual internships is much wider than it used to be. So now's a good time to be applying for things and kind of, what is it I want to do? Where can I get experience? And how can that experience help me plan for the future? Hannah, you mentioned pre-pharmacy. Are you looking for a pharmacy job right now for like during the break, or like doing pharmacy technology or something like that?
So I have my pharmacy tech license, and so I've been looking for like a pharmacy back home where I live to work over the break. But an internship, I'm also thinking about switching from pre-pharmacy to biology. So I was just thinking about either an internship in a medical field or even a pharmacy or just something like that, just so I can kind of see, because I still really don't know what I want to do yet. So just
Okay.
like seeing what I want to do and what I like.
And that's a great thing about internships is you can use your internship as a way of exploring fields to see what you like and what you don't like. If you are able to secure a pharmacy tech job for the break, you could register that for internship credit. So a pharmacy tech job is a potential internship for academic credit. So let's go ahead and go back to the presentation and continue from there. I have to keep moving the screen that's in front of where I am not seeing you all so that I can actually see what I'm presenting to you. Okay, so that's about finding internships. The other part is the types of settings that you might want to find. Lawrence County has a lot of nonprofits who are always looking for volunteers. So if you think that you might want to do something like marketing or work in a nonprofit, work in social work, or something like that, just making a change, there are lots of nonprofits that are looking for interns. There are also a good many businesses locally who will accept unpaid interns for short periods of time. They don't have jobs lined up and ready to hire someone. Excuse me. So they don't usually have paying positions for those. On the other hand, there are other businesses who are looking for part-time staff. So if you're interested in a job in sales, for instance, there is an organization, Fastenal, who's almost always recruiting for management training sales positions in between Lawrence and Clinton. And we've had quite a number of students who've done that for internship credit. And some of them have gone on to work for that company full-time outside the area, not here locally after they've graduated. So some internships can lead to openings for full-time after graduation. Enterprise is another employer who recruits a lot of college grads every year, and they may hire someone in Greenwood or up in Simpsonville for the spring semester. So that's a possibility. Medical, allied health, including pharmacy, those are generally going to be unpaid unless things like being a CNA or a pharmacy technician can usually be paid. And if it's a paid position, you would search for that like you would any other job. On the other hand, if you were looking for a shadowing type position in a medical setting, I would help you because we have an application process for that. Pre-law is another setting that I can help set you up locally. But we've got, again, some students doing pre-law internships virtually this semester. And government, a lot of the local governments or economic development organizations have had students do internships in the past. And that might be a place to do that media and marketing with NGO type of a setting, or also at economic development. Questions on the types of settings that are available that we can help you with, that we've helped other students with? I'm sorry, I've got a tickle in my throat. Okay, so let's go ahead to the registration, because it's a two-part process, a little different, but you're getting ready to register for classes for spring semester right now. If you look at the course schedule for the spring semester and go to any discipline, you'll find internships under that for 1 through 4 credit hours. You can register up to 6 credit hours, but they only put up to 4 on Bannerweb because most students do not register for 6 credit hours. But if you look, you can find the CRN beside the discipline and number of credit hours that you're looking for, so that when you register for classes, you put that CRN in. If it's interdisciplinary, you might choose collegiate studies, but otherwise choose the discipline that most closely aligns with. We won't talk about summer right now, but there's a little bit different process for summer. Collegiate studies is the only one listed in Bannerweb for summer. Any questions on the Bannerweb part of registration?
Is that something that we need to go ahead and do like now, you think? Go ahead and sign up for that for next semester?
Right, when you register for classes, just go ahead and register. That gives me a heads up on how many people are planning to do internships. And I generally try to reach out to those who register to make sure that if they need help on the search part, that they've got it.
Yes, ma'am.
So that's an important reason that we went. It used to be that we didn't put them into Bannerweb until the paperwork was finished. And sometimes students would end up not having enough credits to be full-time, and they would have trouble staying in housing or getting their financial aid. That was more of a problem for fall than it was for spring semester, but that's one reason we put it into Bannerweb. But the other part is that once you've got a location secured, you register it when you register for other classes. Once you've got a place secured, there's usually just one form. Right now, there are actually 3 forms for any face-to-face internship. The registration form is one that's always required, and it tells us where you're doing your internship, what discipline it's in, it's connected back to that. If you are perhaps an exchange student or a student who is not a US citizen, there's some extra paperwork to make sure that you're not in violation of the immigration laws and the work eligibility laws. On the back of this, and I'm going to email it out to you all. In fact, I can do that real quickly right now because it's in the drafts ready to go. So let me do that. Okay, I just emailed to you all the these 3 forms so that you can pull them up and look at them if you want to. On the back of this is a place for your job description of what you're doing. At the bottom here is where you're going to be interning, the name of the company and organization. And the bottom of the back is what your learning goals are, which we'll get to in just a little bit. For spring, just like fall and this past summer, because of COVID, we also have a statement of responsibility and assumption of risk form that basically reminds you of things that are important for your safety and for the safety of your coworkers. And also it asks for your employer to sign in 2 places. One of those is, for example, that they will not require you to come into work if you're sick. Also that they will not have other people come into work who are sick so that you get exposed. And then also that they will have masks, that they will have you wearing a mask, and any additional PPE that's required, that they will provide it for you. And then this waiver form, I pre-filled out the top part, you would fill out the bottom. This is to show Dr. Raber why you need to do it face-to-face. So those 3 forms are something that we could kind of review in a little bit more detail when we meet one-on-one either as part of your search or once you've found where you're going to be doing your internship. Any questions on the paperwork? Did the emails get to you?
I haven't gotten a notification, but I can check again.
Okay. I just sent it a couple of minutes ago, and it may be that my internet here is acting rather slow, so it may be that that's the problem on this end.
No, ma'am, we haven't gotten it.
Okay. It should get to you this evening then, but I sent all 3 of those forms for you. The last thing on the agenda to kind of cover is learning goals. You know, I said that all of your other classes, a professor sits down and they say, I want to teach this subject. This is what I want students to know by the end. This is what I want to cover. And they write learning outcomes for their classes. You're the ones who chose to do an internship of a particular topic. So you're going to be actually putting together the learning goals for your internship. This diagram here is from Bloom's taxonomy, which he did some research on learning and levels of learning. And he kind of broke it down into some very basic things that are a starting point. So I want all of you to think back if you were 4 years old in pre-K and you're sitting around on the rug in the pre-K classroom and the teacher were to hold up a square that is the same color as that bottom part of the trapezoid and say, okay, students, what color is that? What would you all say? Anybody?
What was the question again? I'm sorry.
What's the color in the part there at the bottom that says remembering?
Purple.
Oh, purple.
Purple, exactly. So as kindergartners or pre-kindergartners, you're learning to name, identify, describe. Those are the kinds of things you are learning as a kindergartner. When you get a little bit older, you might understand that purple is a secondary color and that they're primary and secondary colors. And then a little bit more learning, and you will learn to apply that and say, okay, purple is made up of blue and red. I can apply my understanding of colors to use blue and red to make purple and apply that knowledge. And then at the higher level, I might create something that uses purple to evoke a certain image, or I might test out different shades of purple to see which one is the closest to an eggplant that grows in the garden. Or I might take information apart and explore relationships. You know, why is it that light changes into purple if you combine blue and red? So as you look at these levels of learning, in some cases, if you're doing an internship in a field you've never been exposed to, you might just be learning to memorize vocabulary and understand some of the basics of the information, summarize it, explain it, paraphrase it, discuss it. However, if it's something that builds on skills you already have, you want to be able to write learning goals that use that information in a new but similar way. Use it to make a chart, diagram, or to create something, evaluate something, or analyze, like compare and contrast, those types of things. So pre-law, for instance, you might be just very basic interested in learning if law is a good field for you. So these 2 levels might be good. But if you're trying to determine which field of law you want to go into, you might want to compare and contrast 2 different types of law practices. Am I more interested in real estate law, or am I more interested in workman's comp law? So as you are writing your learning goals, and you'll sit down with me and with your faculty advisor to develop your learning goals, because you're going to need a faculty member to help you with your internship registration. And that's who's going to grade your journals as you write them throughout the semester. So they can help you also writing the learning goals. You want them to be concrete, something that you can measure, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time specific. So by the end of the semester, I want to learn these things that are relevant for my future career. It can be skills or knowledge. Maybe it's learn how to use a particular software. That's more of a skill than a knowledge. And it needs to be connected in some way to your academic program of study, but it can be collegiate studies instead of your major. Any questions on writing learning goals?
Are these slides available to us?
Yes, in fact, I'm recording
Okay.
the presentation tonight, so I'm going to put it on YouTube so that you can go back and look through it. But I'll
Okay.
also come up with some sort of way to make the slides available themselves as well.
Okay, thank you.
This is our staff page, and Kim Lane is our director. I'm associate director. Kendall Rote is our new assistant director. She's just been here, I think, 6 weeks now. And then Melanie Cash is our administrative assistant, part-time. She's also in the housing office. So if you've seen her over in Lawrence in the mornings, that's where she is in the mornings. But I'm going to stop sharing right now and go back. And in chat, well, all of you, I think, have my email address, but some of you signed up online rather than through the Tartan network. I mean, through an email from me. So my email address is right there if you want to set up an appointment. And the other thing I'm going to do real quickly is pull my calendar link up. I'm going to see if I can do this, because there ought to be some sort of way that I can share my calendar to make appointments. I think I can do this. Sorry. Okay. That should take you to my calendar, my appointment schedule, so that you can sign up for an appointment with me. If none of the times that show as available work for you, then we can figure something else out instead. I'm going to stop recording right now, because I think that's all that we need to have in the part that's online, but I will open it back up for conversation. Those who are just watching the recording, thank you for joining us tonight. And if you've got any questions, please contact me in the Office of Career and Professional Development, First Floor Springs. Email is ldowney@presby.edu, or my phone is 864-833-8381 there in the office. Thank you and have a good evening.